So this is going to be a slightly different video, a lot more pared back, because Instagram has been making me very annoyed recently, and I just had to get this video up as quick as I humanly could. So here's where it started. My Instagram account is very chill. I mostly post about the books I'm reading, what I'm watching, my art, random stuff like that. Though I mostly use it to interact with other people who enjoy our mutual interest. Art, books, movies, and just cool things in general. I like commenting on the posts of people I'm following, let me repeat, of the people I'm following, because I like to interact and get to know people. I like the community aspect of Instagram, or what Instagram used to be, because over the last few years, in fact since Adam Mosseri became head of Instagram in 2018, pretty much everything about Instagram, from the community building culture to the basic feature design of the app, has changed, and absolutely not for the better. But I was fine with ticking along with a subpar user experience until I actually couldn't use it anymore. A few days ago, I tried to comment on a post literally only with a hands up emoji and an exclamation mark, and Instagram, in all its superior sagacious wisdom, flagged that as a comment that could potentially harm the safety of the Instagram community. All the while, a post that says the N-word light can just chill out in the comment section. And it was at this point that I realized Instagram is a mess, but not like just a mess in its complete disregard of the user and creator experience on their site, but like literally a broken app. And that makes me pretty vexed, because they are making money on me engaging with their app, with me and everyone else looking at their ads, which I'm fine with up to a point, because Instagram is a business and a business has to make money. But you know what else a business has to do? Provide a product that actually works. But they're not even upholding that part of the deal. Similarly, beyond the fact that their app is actually broken, with no indication that they even acknowledge that there's a massive glitch that needs to be fixed, they have no interest in making the app experience actually good. Not for the people who post on there, who share their ideas, their humor, their creativity there, and not for the people who are just using it to interact with other people with their mutual interest. In fact, the only people who benefit from Instagram are Instagram itself and the brands or poor individuals who are paying money just for their posts to be viewed. And there is a whole lot more wrong with Instagram than just this. And though there's a lot of videos already on YouTube about how bad social media is in general, or how bad Instagram is for your mental health, for example, I have a particular beef with Instagram as a whole in my capacity as both a user and a creator on their platform. And yeah, it's bad for a person's mental health, but it's also just a bad app, and I'm angry about it, because most of the problems with Instagram are either because they have made it that way for profit, or they are blatantly ignoring its issues despite active complaints from countless users and creators. And so when I get angry, I don't just vent, I vent with facts and logic. So I looked at Instagram as an app and split the various problems with it into three main categories. Number one, the basic feature design issues of Instagram. Number two, the technological / functionality issues of Instagram, which made me want to make this video in the first place. And three, the issues with Instagram's user experience, from the ability or lack thereof to build a community and following, to the effect Instagram has on its user base, socially and mentally. But before we get into all the problems with Instagram today, most of them being their fault, here's a quick history lesson about how Instagram started, because it is clear that with 2 billion monthly users in 2024, Instagram must have been a successful app at some point to gain the popularity it has now. So, starting off, Instagram is the brainchild of Kevin Systrom, who was a 27-year-old Stanford University graduate at the time, along with Mike Krieger, a 25-year-old fellow Stanford graduate who was working as an engineer and user-base experience designer for the now defunct social media platform Meebo. Having had already developed an app prototype called Bourbon, a social media for whiskey and bourbon lovers, the two of them widened the app's scope to focus on the the editing and filtering capabilities of a then popular app called Hipstamatic and the media sharing capability of social medias like the then popular Facebook. Instagram only took 8 weeks to be developed and in October 2010 was launched on the Apple App Store. It gained 25,000 users in one day and by the end of the week had been downloaded 100,000 times. By mid-December 2010, Instagram had 1 million users. Fast forward to March 2012, Instagram has 27 million users, and Facebook, now Meta, acquired it for $1 billion in cash and stock, with the caveat that the original owners, Systrom and Krieger, would keep control of every aspect of Instagram, from its features to its user experience. The main features that drew people in was that it was almost completely dedicated to photo sharing, meaning that artists and photographers in particular had a dedicated space to showcase their work. Also, the feed of posts on your account was supplied in chronological order, meaning that it was a simple process of going down your feed in order to keep up with friends, family, and other people you know. The chronological order also gave a sense of immediacy and closeness to the people posting, which was nice for long-distance family and friends whose main mode of communication was via social media. They also used hashtags to categorize posts, which was a straightforward way of posting and finding new posts under a single category. Very good for people who shared their professional work on Instagram, since it was relatively straightforward to discover new creators in the topics that interested the user. Though there have been a few major changes to Instagram, like the addition of video media in 2013 and the addition of stories where you can post images or videos that disappear after 24 hours in 2016, Instagram has for the most part stayed the same and was seen by the public as the social media to post photos and build a community with other people in a way that seemed more personal and authentic, and not crazy like Tumblr. That was until the end of 2018, where Systrom and Krieger resigned from Instagram and was replaced by Mosseri. And funnily enough, since the end of 2018 onwards, Instagram has devolved into an app that is a far cry from the authentic and community-building photo-sharing app Instagram started out as. And hey, I'm not trying to say that Mosseri is the direct cause of Instagram's current downfall, but since he is the head of Instagram with oversight of all functions of the business, the fact that things only started radically changing for the absolute worst right when Mosseri started as head is not only a bit iffy, but I think downright suspicious. Which is a perfect segue into the first major issue with Instagram, a problem which affects both the ordinary Instagram user and the creator trying to make a living on the app. One of Instagram's biggest issues is its feature design, and most specifically its algorithm. Instagram actually uses various algorithms to determine what content is being shown to people, as well as how frequently, but for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to call it the algorithm. There are so many videos on YouTube about how Instagram's algorithm works, all in desperate hope to find a way to hack the algorithm and get a huge Instagram following. Truth is, no one knows exactly how the algorithm works, except for the software developers who work on the algorithm. But here's what we do know. We know that it changes incredibly frequently without much warning to the users, and we know that the current Instagram algorithm is what I would describe as antagonistic towards the people who post on Instagram. For one, organic, i.e. unpaid reach is down. Why is this important? Well, first of all, reach is the number of unique people who are shown an Instagram post on their feed. Currently, the algorithm prioritizes reach not to the people who already follow you, but based on high engagement, as well as based on the type of content Instagram deems more engaging. Currently, that's video media, i.e. Reels. So if you post content that is not deemed engaging, like something that is not immediately eye-catching or not a part of a trend already done to the ground, or just an ordinary photo post, then your content is more than likely going to be able to be seen by a lot less people than before. In fact, the majority of your followers might not even see your post because Instagram has deemed your post as not engaging. So what is engaging content? Well, viral posts for one, including unoriginal content that follow the same trends, and including posts that should be against community guidelines, another big problem I'll get back to. What else? Well, people who already have a very high follower count, like celebrities. The thing is, even people who have a larger follower count has seen a significant decrease in reach despite their follower count. Why is that? Well, I'll also get onto that. What else? Well, people who post incredibly frequently. More content being available increases the visibility of that content, and so gives people more chances to interact with those new posts on their feed. People who post the right content format. Since Instagram is trying to rival TikTok at the moment, that means Reels. When Instagram decides they don't want to continue with their follow-metric test with TikTok, that probably will change. Okay, so the algorithm only pushes a certain type of content to a person's feed. That's annoying, especially if the type of content pushed is unoriginal, stale, and the account is unlikely to actually interact with its followers. But if you can find newer, less popular content another way, then it's not that big of a deal. Here's the thing. The way to find newer content used to be with hashtags. Hashtags benefited both the content creator and the typical user because you were able to type a keyword and find the most recent content that was in that category. Typical users were able to find new people to follow naturally since it was relevant to what they were interested in, even if it wasn't that popular. And content creators were able to garner a following in a more organic, authentic way by simply posting what they liked with relevant hashtags, and people who were looking for those topics would find it relevant and current and would follow them. But don't you worry. Luckily enough, Instagram caught that loophole of finding more authentic content and put a stop to that. Hashtags now have little, if any, relevance in finding new content on Instagram. And what used to be the most recent post tab, which just featured what was posted most recently, is now the recent top post tab, which only features posts that already have gained thousands of likes and have already been pushed by the algorithm. And I'm going to be honest, I don't even go on the recent top post tab because it's very unlikely that the accounts featured there are actually run by people who interact with their followers or are not just brand accounts. There is now seemingly no way to increase reach and have people be able to view your content on a regular basis. But that's where you're wrong, my compadre, and I've given you a hint already. That's right. You just have to buy it. The other way to gain reach on Instagram is to buy it by making your post sponsored, i.e. making it an ad. If you sponsor your post, then Instagram prioritizes your post's reach over people who don't sponsor their posts. In other words, Instagram now has a pay-to-win model, and the ones who can pay for their posts' engagements are the ones that have taken all the reach and so are more likely to be interacted with. People are wondering where their organic reach has gone. The answer is that it's been sold off to the highest bidder as an ad. I don't even blame content creators or people trying to market their small businesses because that is probably the only way they are getting their content seen. And I don't even blame brands who buy ads because that's what brands do. But I do think it's scummy behavior for Instagram to sell the organic reach of people who have already naturally created their following and then have the audacity to say that people's photos are not being seen because he claims, 1, a lot of followers don't open the app that day, or 2, those who do log in have far more posts to see than they have time to spend and don't scroll down far enough to get to every post. And has further audacity to say not to blame the algorithm because ranking and recommendation increase the amount of posts people get to, and therefore the amount of reach to go around more than anything else they've ever done. And then say that users should focus on views and likes rather than follow accounts if they actually want to get a sense for how relevant an account is. Number 1, I doubt that someone who has millions of followers have such a high fraction of those followers just not open the app that day. Number 2, the reason people don't have time to scroll far enough down their feed is because their feed is littered with ads, sponsored posts, and posts Instagram have recommended to the user, sometimes with topics the user showed absolutely no interest in the first place. So the increase in feed ranking and recommendations are going to the people who are already viral or who have paid for the reach. And 3, the worst of all, Missouri wants people to view accounts with high views and likes because those are the metrics that can be bought with increased reach. Follower accounts mean nothing because they've made it mean nothing. Because having people get the majority of their feed come from people they've actually follow doesn't make money for Instagram. People buying engagement makes money for Instagram. Meta's revenue, which comes from Instagram, has jumped from 26% in 2020 to almost 30% in the first 6 months of 2022. Not only that, Instagram's ad revenue reached $50.58 billion in 2023. The large majority of it coming from in-feed ads. So the scummy feed full of everything except for the people you follow, that's by design, or by design, if you get what I mean. Another reason why Instagram is a bad app is because it literally does not work as an app. Instagram, along with Facebook and Meta, went down twice in the span of a month, meaning that for a period of time, Instagram wasn't able to load, as well as logged people out of their own accounts. This would have been terrible, particularly for content creators, artists, or small businesses that rely on their Instagram for marketing, especially if they've already paid to sponsor their post. This would be an understandable incident if they actually fixed it, but people are still complaining that they are still being logged out of their account and Instagram is not willing to address this issue. Even this would be more acceptable if Instagram just actually came out and said their app is incredibly janky and apologized that their app is only tied together with a hope and a prayer to Mammon, the god of money. Plus, the glitch that is suspending people commenting is happening more and more frequently, and it's probably because of their use of AI moderation. This is incredibly annoying to have happen to, and what's worse is that their AI moderation doesn't even work because it's not even removing comments that do go against the community guidelines. And in case you didn't think it could get any worse, if you do get wrongfully banned by the AI moderation, it's basically impossible to get your account back. This is what happened to Micah Bisson, who, after doing precisely nothing, was informed on April the 2nd, 2023 that his account had been suspended because it was suspected that it was impersonating someone else, despite Micah owning the account since 2015 and following all the best practices for keeping an online social media account secure. Within a day, Micah did everything Instagram asked him to do in order to get the decision reviewed. And at the end of it, he got a confirmation message saying, "We'll get back to you in a few days." Months go by and the decision still hadn't been reviewed. Then, in October 2023, Micah gets an email that read, "Your account has been permanently disabled because your account or activity on it violated the TOU, terms of use. As it's been more than 180 days since we suspended your account, you can no longer request a review of this decision." Despite them not reviewing the suspension when they said they would, after requesting for a review of the original decision in the appropriate time, and after not being able to reach out to Instagram for help at all. I agree with Micah, who says here, if you're going to take on AI as doing some moderation work on your behalf, you have to train it to do better. I committed no sin here, yet I'm being deplatformed for an error in the algorithm with literally no way to reach out to figure out what happened, what I can do to fix it, assuming the sin was mine to begin with, or request an escalation. Micah also asks a few really good questions too. Is AI actually capable of doing this scale of moderation, with this degree of failing safeguarding the user base from false accusations by an algorithm? What's being put in place to ensure moderation actions are being reviewed and requests to prove identity or file a grievance are being put through for an actual review? Or is it that you really do not care about deleting people from your platform, erasing their history, and going by their lack of comment on all the technological and functional issues with their app? I believe the answer is clearly the latter. If you are simply a user on their app, then you are ad reach. That is how Instagram values you. They don't care about the connections that you've built with your account or the list of people you've curated to follow or the friends that you found by engaging with an Instagram community. You are someone who views ads. What does it matter if a faceless, meaningless account gets suspended? They'll make a new account and become another faceless ad reach number to boast about to our advertisers. Another way Instagram is a terrible app is how harmful, unfriendly, and just unpleasant the overall user experience is. We already know that all social media uses countless persuasive technology, that is, technology that shapes attitudes and behaviors to get people addicted to their platform. You ever wonder why every social media have the notifications for follows and likes automatically turned on? It's not because they are concerned that you're going to miss the latest updates. It's to give you a sense of urgency and the fear of missing out when you're not on their app. And social medias have scroll pages where you can endlessly scroll and never reach the end of your feed because they are taking advantage of the fact that humans are compelled to want/seek things out in anticipation for gratification. When you scroll, there's always a chance for something new getting your interest, like a gambler constantly pulling the lever of the slot machine. And when there's no natural stop to scrolling, like the end of the page, we are compelled to just keep on mindlessly scrolling, mindlessly searching for our next hit. It's bad for our mental health, our self-esteem, our productivity levels. It creates echo chambers and so much more. But a lot of other videos talk about the dangers of social media in general, and so I'll talk about how Instagram particularly makes the user experience absolute dreck. One big problem on the platform is how you can't trust the site not to promote a scam. And I don't mean influencers flaunting their supposed luxury lifestyle while using filters or going into debt. I mean actual scams. Scam ads are rife on all social media, but they are particularly prevalent on Instagram. And Instagram seems to have no type of moderation of what kinds of ads they are letting on their platform. I mean, I would certainly hope there's no moderation, because if this is them moderating the ads, then it just means that Instagram doesn't give a flying monkey if they are fleecing their user base for the extra ad money. In one situation, a criminal company was able to impersonate a genuine car leasing company based in the UK, stealing the legitimate company's name, company number, and other details before making an Instagram account with those details. When which, a UK consumer watchdog organisation asked Meta to remove the impersonating Instagram account, they did not. And the reason for this was, stop asking questions, please and thank you. The real company has been contacted by multiple victims with a total loss of more than 40,000 grand. Not simoleons, but real cold, hard, legal tender. And the scammers haven't even been taken down. They've just rebranded their Instagram account to impersonate another genuine firm. There are so many other stories about people being scammed from what they think is a genuine ad, especially if it's a sponsored ad. People would assume that it has already been moderated and confirmed as legitimate, like ads have to be on TV. I personally keep getting tagged in these scam stories on my account, which I constantly report as scams, only for another one to pop up again the next day. With 70% of shoppers looking to Instagram for their next purchase, a large portion of Instagram's user base are in danger of being scammed, and Instagram have proven themselves to be uncaring to their users if things go wrong. My final big problem with Instagram is how inauthentic, stale, and just boring the content and accounts have become just to keep up with the algorithm. This is going back to Instagram's push of viral content. Since Instagram gives the most organic reach to content that have been deemed most engaging, content creators and other creatives have to make unoriginal content that follow the same trends in hopes of being pushed by the algorithm, practically boxing their creativity in order to serve Instagram's concept of what good content is. That means that the most pushed content are posts with the same look, the same audio, the same captions, and it gets boring so quickly. And because of this push for viral content, it's become so hard to make a genuine, authentic connection with other people, since all the pushed content are unlikely to be interested in engaging with their audience on a regular basis. Not everyone wants to be an influencer who just pushes out content and doesn't have any community connected with their account. Also, The push for virality means that it's not the creator who gets popular, it's the content. In that way, reels are just like TikTok or YouTube shorts, where you watch one reel that you really like, but if someone asks you who made the video of something you just watched, you would have no idea. Similarly, creators are having to post constantly to see any consistent engagement, which has an incredibly negative impact on prolonged creativity and not getting burnt out. Not to mention the glut of AI content that can be produced easily and posted constantly results in lazy AI posts being constantly pushed onto your explore feed. They are devaluing the person over the product, which is again why likes and views are being made more important, not follower count. This push for virality and engagement also incentivizes more sensationalized content that should have at least a sensitive content warning or just not be shown at all. People have come across animal abuse, children being hurt in car crashes, full-on nudity, and a lot worse while on the explore page or on reels. Funny thing is, your algorithm can be influenced so easily, so these videos can easily flood your explore feed after watching one or two of these types of videos. But it takes concerted effort flagging the content, selecting not interested on the video, and adding restricted word tags just to get rid of them again. And that might not even work. And it's clear why people would watch the content in the first place. It's like a burning car crash. You can't help but look at it. But Instagram should be aware that not all viral content should be engaged with, especially if it goes against community guidelines. So, what's the future of Instagram? Well, it's not looking good, that's for sure. For one, Instagram can't seem to decide whether they want to be a Snapchat copycat, a Twitter copycat, or a TikTok copycat. And they'll keep shifting the core focus of Instagram's features as long as it looks like it will make them more money. Another thing I found out is that Instagram may be trying to bypass privacy laws in the EU by making Instagram an ad-free subscription service costing around £8.50. That is, if you don't want Meta taking your data for personalized ads or anything else they decide to do with it. Though there's not even any guarantee that the Instagram you get will actually be ad-free, since they'll probably still have organic branded content or other forms of advertising that might not seem like traditional advertising. So in essence, the user will be paying money to still be sold to. Or at the heart of it, the user will be paying money to protect their data. And I don't know about you, but that sounds mighty like a racket. And how can we forget the complete lack of care Instagram has for the user, even when their technology is acting up or if their AI moderation is faulty? If you're not paying money and you're not directly making them money by being a big celebrity, content creator, or a brand, then you do not matter. I'm not sure if Instagram is going to fail in the immediate future, but I for one will jump ship as soon as there's another photo sharing app that prioritizes authenticity and organic reach. Though actually, saying that, Meta is currently being sued for buying too many social media companies and making a monopoly, so I'll guess I'll be on that app right up until Meta decides to buy that one too. Long story short, Instagram might not fail soon, but I certainly do hope it does. And when they do, I'll say good riddance to bad trash.